wanted to say I actually brought constitutions for anybody today who doesn't have one. I'm happy to, they're at our table outside. Ben Franklin challenged us long ago that we have a republic only if we can keep it. And that's what our Constitution means to us today. In fact, I would say it's probably just as important today as it was in the time of our founding fathers. Because what the Constitution really is, it's a freedom document for us as Americans. I'd say it goes even further than binding us together. This is our freedom document from an overarching federal government, because it basically limits what the federal government can do for you and to you. So I'd encourage everybody to grab one if you don't already have a copy. I will say that this past Constitutional Day, Congressman Kaufman had a celebration at his offices where he handed out free constitutions, and lots of school kids came and citizens came and took one for themselves. The future of our liberty really depends on reclaiming the first principles of our Constitution and all the words of our founding fathers. Heritage Foundation is one of my favorite places to go to, and they talk about this quite a bit. They say we must recall the nation to its first principles, reinvigorate American constitutionalism, and revive the sturdy virtues required for self-government. I think it's an important time in our nation's history to reclaim what our founders meant for us. Regarding the federal government having any role, or Congressman Kaufman in teaching the Constitution, he feels like that's not a federal role, not a congressional role, but he would love to see local governments and local school boards who have that control of curriculum make that decision.
How does Mr. Kaufman feel about making a requirement to limit the number of line items on a bill and limit the number of pages allowed?
It's a great question. When I looked into that one, Congressman Kaufman used to be one of our state legislators, and one of the things he liked about our state government is we have a single topic rule for any bills proposed here in Colorado, and he felt like that was very helpful. He would support almost any measure that would add transparency, efficiency, and ease of understanding for both members of Congress and citizens. In fact, the new Pledge to America has one of the portions of it that requires that our federal elected officials actually read the bill. It's kind of a daunting thing, isn't it? And require legislation to be publicly available for at least 3 days online on the internet for citizens like us to read in advance of a vote. So he would support, he'd have to see specifics of that particular bill. For example, if it was limited to 1 page, that would be tricky. He probably wouldn't support that because a lot of bills need more than a couple pages. But he would support anything to make it more efficient, more transparent. Thank you.
On the last day of the session, I think it was Wednesday of this week, there was well over 100 items on the Congress's docket that one day. I don't think that you can limit, I think there's much more important things that we can do. We can limit the money in politics, that's much more important. I don't think money equals speech. I agree with Republicans that there should be term limits on the leaders of Congress. I think that's much more important to moving our country forward. And I believe a balanced budget submitted to the President precludes the need for that proposal in question.
All right. So that's all the questions we have. So you have your final remarks.
Okay, thank you. It's a real pleasure to be with you tonight, and I especially appreciate the college students in the room. You have a lot at stake in the future of your country. I brought my daughter with me tonight. She's a high school student, and I sometimes bring out a pretend credit card and show her, and I said, instead of me leaving you an inheritance, I'm leaving you a charged-up credit card as our country. And it's gotten so bad, I took out another credit card that I've borrowed from China, and now instead of any inheritance at all, you get these 2 credit cards. It really is immoral what we're doing to our children and our grandchildren and future generations. That's one of the reasons why it's exciting for me to help someone like Representative Kaufman with his campaign to be reelected in 2010. I believe he campaigned in 2008 as someone who would fight for our country and have the courage to do the right thing in Congress. And I believe he's kept that promise, and he needs to go back and represent us again in 2010. One of the things that I brought tonight is a card that talks about the three main reasons he's running. First is jobs in the economy. It's critical to get our country back on track with job creation and to ensure the competitiveness of American industries in our global society. We need to stop our deficit spending, lower tax rates, and reduce regulatory burdens, and this will help get our country back on track. Overspending and overspending and overspending will not do it for us. National security. Mike Coffman is a Marine Corps veteran and is the only member of Congress to have served in both the Gulf War and the Iraq War. He understands the national security and economic security issues that face our country. He's also running on national debt and out-of-control spending. We've talked about this a few times. He has a record as a proven tough fiscal conservative, and he's ready for the battle again once re-elected. He's been fighting every day to control out-of-control spending and the recklessness that puts us deeper and deeper into debt. I hope that if you'd like more information about Congressman Coffman, you can go to kaufmanforcongress.com, where I'll be around to help answer any questions, and it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. Thank you.
I've been running for 20 months, and in the last year or so, I've spent my time among non-democratic groups, unaffiliated groups, business groups, and I'm out there talking to them, and this is what I hear from them. They want the wars ended in a responsible way, they want to see jobs created, and they want to see an agenda, an actual plan to move the country forward. So I have a multi-point agenda that I'd like to lay before you tonight. We need to create 15,000 jobs in the 6th District as a community. We need to end combat operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. We need comprehensive immigration reform. We need to pass my BRICS proposal. We need to pass my congressional incentive pay proposal. We need to run our economy and move towards this right here in our own community, towards running our economy on clean American-made energy. We need to increase our exports by 20% in the next 2 years. And we need to increase the graduation rates from our high schools, community colleges, and colleges. This is a specific plan that moves our country forward in the next 2 years. Thank you. My website is FleurlichForCongress.com. Spelling's a little bit harder than Smith, but take a card or a piece of literature, you'll figure it out. So thank you very much. Thank you to the school.